Hello, it's Thursday, 21st of May. It's Ascension Day today. It's the day in the church's calendar when we celebrate Jesus returning or ascending to his Father in heaven, 40 days after the resurrection. One of the Bible readings set for today comes from Acts chapter 1, and it's the first 11 verses, and it's all about waiting. I'm not very good at waiting. I like everything to happen now. I always want to get on with whatever's important to me as soon as possible. When I was a teenager, I was often left in charge of my brother, who was 7 years younger than me. And my wife Jill was my girlfriend in those days, and she used to come over to my house to help with the babysitting. The trouble was, I wasn't at all interested in my annoying little brother, but I couldn't wait to spend time alone with my girlfriend. So I came up with the idea, as soon as my dad went out, I'd put the clock forward an hour. That way I could make sure that my brother went to bed an hour earlier, 7 o'clock rather than 8 o'clock, and he was none the wiser. Then the waiting was over, and I could have Jill all to myself. In our Bible reading, the disciples have just spent 40 days with the risen Jesus. We read that he's appeared to them many times, eating with them, teaching them, preparing them for the future. On this final occasion, he gives them a promise and sets them a task. The task was to go out into the whole world and to tell others about Jesus and all that he had done. The promise was that they didn't have to do this task on their own. If they waited together, he would send them the Holy Spirit to help them and to guide them. Towards the end of today's reading, we learn that no sooner had Jesus finished saying these things that he was taken up into the clouds. It's hard to imagine how the disciples must have felt as they watched their Lord disappearing from their sight. They were left waiting for the promised Holy Spirit, but anxious and uncertain about what would happen to them. Perhaps we can empathise with the disciples, perhaps especially today, as we wait for the virus to abate and for the lockdown to finally end. We find ourselves in a time of uncertainty about what day-to-day life will be like post-virus. We feel anxious about the way forward for our nation, about the economy and the possibility of a second wave of the virus. But fortunately for us, we're in a stronger position than the disciples, as the Holy Spirit has already come into the world. We don't have to wait to have a stronger relationship with God and to know his love and reassurance. We can ask the Holy Spirit to help us and to guide us today, right now. We don't even have to put the clock forward to make it happen any sooner. Bye for now.